disease, soil, drought. Each season bringing new challenges farmers hope they won't face. Agriculture reporter Marcia Gorel follows the successes and failures of Saline County crops. She and University of Missouri Extension agronomist Wayne Crook will look at what's stunting local growth, what nudges farmers closer to productive harvest, and the science behind mid-Missouri fields.
Welcome to another Crop Concerns for video. I'm Marcia Gorel, the agriculture reporter of the Marshall Democrat News, and I'm here with Wayne Crook, our extension agronomist from the University of Missouri. Welcome, Wayne.
Glad to be here.
Well, Wayne, it's almost the end of July, and as anybody that's been anywhere out of Marshall knows, the corn isn't doing very well. Tell us a little bit about the crop condition of the corn in Saline County and area counties.
It just keeps deteriorating, it seems like. It's still dry. What little rain we've received basically lasts about a half a day is all it's going to last and do any good. It will make it more humid, so it'll be more uncomfortable with the temperatures we got, though.
Right, but 2 weeks of 100+ degree weather has not helped our corn crop at all, obviously.
No. I've actually got some people they're thinking about picking corn in July. Actually.
Is that right? Is that in Saline County or just south of Saline County?
It was in Pettis County, actually. Two different ones down there said they were going to. Last week I toured the area, and down in there are some fields that are completely white. There's not any green left at all. They didn't cut it for silage. There's even a few late planted cornfields that haven't even tasseled yet down there. So they're not going to make anything. But with this heat, I'm sure that the plant that's a green are still aborting kernels.
That's what I was wondering about.
Yeah,
we talked about that last time, about the aborting the kernels, and I've seen some ears from fields that have like a zipper down the middle, basically nothing down the middle.
That was the pollination effect.
Oh, that's a pollination, okay.
Yeah, what an ear will do, kernels will start aborting from the very tip.
Okay.
And as they keep aborting, they'll go down the ear. I've seen some ears pulled in, they've got about an inch and a half of corn on the bottom of the cob is all they've got.
Is that right?
That's right.
So is that a 10 bushel an acre field, a 5 bushel an acre field?
I think that might have been his whole crop.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I'm for sure if we're still going to get some more abortion, when they get to a certain point, the kernels themselves will stop growing and you're going to get small, shriveled up kernels.
Okay.
So your test weight's going to be lower. Spider mite.
Some people have said we'll be harvesting by the middle of August here in Saline County. Do you see that to be the case? Or?
There are fields. One guy said that his moisture was dropping 3 points a day on his corn.
Is that right?
Yep, and his corn head wasn't in at the time, so he was somewhat concerned.
Okay.
But when it turns, the worst part about the corn in the condition is when the ears fall over, the neck and all the phloem and xylem get closed off. So all the moisture has to evaporate through the shucks. Normally when the ear stays upright, the moisture will travel down through the shank of the ear and it will dry a little bit faster. So when it falls over, it's going to dry slower. And that could be a problem getting it to dry down evenly between the really dead stuff and the half dead stuff and the stuff that's still kind of green.
Okay. More joys at harvest, right?
Always, always.
Aflatoxin, that's a big word I've been hearing this year, and I haven't heard it very much before, but it's a big fear for people. Tell a little bit about aflatoxin and what it is.
One thing about years like this, whenever you get these severe drought conditions, there's a tendency for the kernels to crack on the cob. That leaves an opening for the fungus to get in. It's the fungus Aspergillus that gets in there.
Okay.
It'll cause either a gray-brown mold or a green-yellow type, green and blue type mold.
But it's not something you see with the naked eye, is that right?
You can see the mold, but identifying which mold is on there.
Oh, okay.
Also, we're starting to get earworms coming into the corn crop, and when they eat the kernels, they'll open the kernels up where the fungus can get into the kernels on the end of the ear too.
Okay.
But it takes only 20 parts per million to be toxic to both animals and humans.
Okay.
And the worst thing that could really happen with the condition of corn now is we get a lot of rain and it stays wet and that fungus moves in.
Okay.
Then they could actually lose whatever they got. But the dry conditions make the corn more prone to infection by this fungus.
Okay. And of course, elevators will be testing for it, and from what I understand, though, they don't really have a exact science test. Most of the elevators don't. but the crop insurance agents want you to be sure and test for it. I went to a meeting today, and that's something they want to make sure that the agent tests it in the field, so before you put it in the bin. So
I think the elevators will be able to test for the presence, but not the quantity.
not the quantity. Okay. So that's something that people need to really talk about with their insurance agent if they are insured, and I think 90% of farmers are insured now.
And if you do harvest the corn, and if you got any doubts, it needs to be dried down to less than 15 degrees within 24 hours.
15%, you mean?
Yeah, 15% moisture within 24 hours, because if there was any fungus in there, that will kill the fungus and stop its growth.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
So it won't grow in like in a bin or whatever.
Right. You need to keep them growing in the bin or even in the truck.
Oh, okay. It can grow in the truck too.
Yeah, I mean, if you leave them for 24 hours, it can grow on that too. So if you've got any notion that you got it, or if you got fields that look dead, you may want to pull a sample and have them examined before you pick.
And isn't it more likely to be in really stressed fields or stressed
Right.
areas of your field? So that's really a concern. Places that died early or...
Yeah, because if you contaminate a whole bin full of corn at the elevator, I mean, that's 300,000 bushel or more.
Okay.
There's going to be a lot of problems.
Yes. I'm hoping we don't have that problem. I'm hoping we're just worrying about something that's not going to happen.
Right.
Well, what about spider mites? We've talked a lot about spider mites. I think you told me that was the insect of the hour.
Right.
So
That's the main one they're having problems with right now.
okay.
Most of the concern right now is in northwest and northeastern Missouri. They're doing
Okay.
quite a bit of spraying up there now. I have seen instances where they're around here, but they're few and scattered and don't seem too bad.
Okay.
And they tend to move into the edge of the field first, but that doesn't mean they don't land in spots out in the field too.
Okay.
You need to check and see if they're in the edge of the field. If you got some there, then you want to look at the rest of the field. If you don't find them at the edge, you can wait till you go back the next time to scout them.
At what threshold should a farmer be spraying when he should be concerned? If he sees a few,
They say about 10% of the plants need to show plant damage, where the leaves are turning yellow. But where you've got them scattered and in spots across the field, it's kind of hard to determine at times. But
okay.
around the edge, if you ever get them all the way across the field, you're in a lot more trouble than if you just spray them when they're kind of spotty across the field.
Okay. And once you start spraying, do you have to keep spraying them every so many days, or?
Usually the chemical, depending on the weather conditions, can last about 21 days.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, a lot of people have talked about the soybeans. I mean, is there still hope for the soybeans? I mean, they've really held on. Despite the fact we've had very little rain, they're still green. I don't know that they've got any pods on them or even any blooms. I haven't checked too close, but they still look green. You tell me. How are they doing?
As long as they're green, there's a chance.
Okay.
They can still come back. How well they can come back, it gets less and less each day we have the dry weather.
Okay.
We've got two problems. Soybeans flower based on the length of night, and they mature on the length of night.
Okay.
We're going to be running into that restriction soon, where they're going to start aborting flowers and start maturing.
Okay.
No matter when you planted them.
Okay.
The other thing is on those, with the heat and stuff, that tends to injure the rhizobia that makes nitrogen for the plant. And if those populations get decreased, or the nodules die, the plant will not be able to produce sufficient nitrogen to make a normal crop too.
Okay. So basically, the soybeans still have a little bit of a chance if it starts to rain in August. And
I even know one field that was just planted last week.
you do?
Yes. And even in
That's an
Indiana,
optimist.
even in Indiana and Ohio, they were disking up the burn up corn and planting beans out there, right after they disked the corn up.
Is that going to work?
Maybe.
Okay. Okay. What about, well, we talked about that. If farmers decide that their soybeans aren't going to make a crop, or they don't think they are, what about the possibility of using their soybeans as a forage crop? I know we don't have any pastures either, and people are worried about cattle and keeping them through the winter. People have been feeding hay for a month now at least.
I know, and hay is getting really high too.
Right.
I've heard some really poor grass hay going for $120 a ton.
Wow.
Good quality grass hay, $185, and good quality alfalfa at $285 a ton.
Wow. Okay.
So it is a possibility, but there is a point there. if you're going to harvest it for forage, you need to get it while the leaves are on it.
Okay.
If the leaves start to fall off, basically you're just harvesting sticks.
Right.
And it won't be any good. But the point you decide whether it's going to make a crop that's worth more than what the forage crop is a difficult decision. I don't know how to make that.
Right. And I know that if they have insurance, they have to contact their insurance agent before they bale it or do anything for the crop. But also, what about sprays? Isn't there a concern with pesticides that were sprayed on soybeans?
Some herbicides that they put on the herbicides, put on the beans to control weeds. You cannot use the bean for forage or hay after you use those herbicides. Also, some of the chemicals used to spray spider mites. Out of the 3 best ones, there are only 2 of them do not allow any use for forage after you spray it.
Okay.
So if you're going to spray for spider mites, you need to make sure, if there's a possibility of using it for forage, you want to choose the one that you can use it for forage. Same thing, if you've got beans and you've got different herbicides, check and see what the labels say and see if you can use it for forage.
Okay. What other pests are you finding besides, have you found any grasshoppers? Some people have talked about grasshoppers in dry weather. Has that been a problem yet?
There's been some moving in. As the pasture's dry, they'll move, but I really haven't heard any issues where they have to control them to spray them yet.
Okay, so they haven't gotten the rest of our soybeans yet.
They may be next week's insect or the week after.
Okay, well great, okay. Well, I want to thank you, Wayne, and I want to thank our videographer, Sarah Reed, and I want to thank Central Missouri Agri Service for sponsoring our video. And thank you also to our intern, Chanel Kane, for her help today. And until next time, this is Crop Concerns for Video. Thank you.